say, Houston, we got a problem. I say, Houston, we got a problem. I say, Houston, we got a problem. I say, Houston, we got a problem. All my goons and goblins. Yo, y'all know what time it is. Don't watch me, watch Dynamite TV with the Big Propaganda Wrestling Podcast Network. And today, this is a special edition of Dynamite TV on the Summer Champions edition of Pod. Hey, man, y'all know who I'm with, man. It is Gino Medina. How you doing, sir?
Doing great, sir.
All right, so Gino, man, well-traveled, won multiple championships all over the states. So let me ask you this question: how does it feel to be back here at Raw?
I loved every single moment ever since coming back to reality wrestling. Honestly, just the reception that I've gotten from the crowd, it's like amazing. It's like even better than it was before. And I feel like that kind of gave me kind of like, it kind of let me know that it was a good thing that I left. So I can kind of put myself together again, because I wasn't fully together before I left. You know, I was fighting a lot with like a lot of mental issues, a lot of like, physical issues and whatnot. So taking that step back and kind of watching from afar for a little bit and coming back made me a better wrestler now. Put the whole package together a lot better.
Okay. Your time in MLW, I'll dive into that before I go to the beginning where you started here, bro. Your time in MLW, do you feel like that seasoned you a little bit for this return?
I feel like it did. My time at MLW was very short, but I enjoyed it because I got to be around a lot of guys that were good. You know, you had people like Hammerstone, Jacob Fatu, MJF. You know, a lot of those guys are like taking over the wrestling business right now. I was around those guys for the longest, and I got to interact with them, pick their brains and whatnot. So I feel like coming back now, I feel like that definitely made me a little better wrestler. But I feel like it's never been one place that's made me a good wrestler. I feel like what's helped me out a lot has been not just staying in one place, kind of always going around and learning from different places that I went to and whatnot. You know, just going back to Mexico when I was out, you know, with my injury, going back over there and learning from that, going to Chicago, learning from those people, going to Florida and training with CM Punk. You know, that was pretty cool, and that kind of got my gears going a lot more, you know, getting to learn and whatnot. So there's never been one place specifically, you know, of course reality wrestling has helped me out a lot, but I feel like even Booker would say, he'll give you the tools, but it's up to you to go out there and kind of make the best out of it.
Okay. Since you mentioned, I will ask you this question, CM Punk, if you were to talk to a young wrestler coming up in the business, what would be one of the things that CM Punk gave you as a tool to take and give to another young wrestler?
It's a good question. I feel like for me, CM Punk could have said anything to me, right? And I would have just like took it in. But like, cause as a kid, I was just such a CM Punk fan, you know, and I just always thought, you know, this guy, you know, something made me gravitate towards him as a young kid. Even like watching him at WrestleMania 22 here in Houston. I'm sorry, in 25 here in Houston. He won the Money in the Bank, and I remember going crazy for that. So when I met him, like 2 years ago, just getting to talk to him and kind of like him being able to understand me and kind of like not playing that card where, you know, he was trying to like, you know, big time me or anything. He literally took the time to like talk to me and like kind of hear me out and see where I was at and what headspace I was at, and kind of letting me know, hey, I've gone through this. I took a couple of years off. It's okay to, you know, take a step back and kind of get yourself together. So just kind of like, just that, man. Just, I feel like, honestly, I don't even remember the stuff that he told me. I just remember how it felt. I remember the feeling and kind of like knowing, hey, one of my top wrestlers of all time is like talking to me right now and telling me, hey, it's okay to take that step back. So I kind of like took that and kind of just ran with it, you know. And honestly, I probably wouldn't have been back if it was for CM Punk, you know. And it's kind of crazy to say, but I I have been wrestling for what, like, I've been wrestling since I was 14. I'm 29 right now. So I've been in wrestling longer than have not been wrestling, you know? So like, and even before that, I was a baby and I was in wrestling locker rooms, you know? So at some point I got burned out and I was like, hey man, my body's still beat up. Maybe I should not do this anymore. You know, I was having troubles, you know, back, you know, knees, you know, neck, all the everything that you can think about. It was hurting. So kind of like taking a step back and being like, hey, I can wake up and not feel pain. This feels great. You know, taking that year break and not feeling that made me really think like, hey, maybe wrestling is something that like, hey, maybe I can just coach. Maybe I can do something else. But if it was ever CM Punk talking to me and kind of taking the time today to like, you know, just kind of coach me and guide me through where I was going, it meant a lot to me.
Okay. The importance of getting your mental health together, man. It's an important thing.
Sure.
I need everybody to take the time out. And if you know that you feel something wrong with yourself, just take a step back, man, and think. You know what I'm saying? So, another question I will ask you. The Reality Wrestling Texas Championship, that beautiful piece of hardware right there. You pretty much won everything here. What makes this title reign so special to you?
Just representing Texas, man. I love Texas. I love Texas wrestling. I feel like some of the best wrestlers of all time have came out of Texas. You know, you got Booker T, Eddie Guerrero, Goldust, Stone Cold, Shawn Michaels. You know, you got them all, man. So I feel like being one of the guys here now wrestling here and holding it down for Texas and being able to, you know, represent Texas with the Reality Wrestling Texas Championship just kind of means the world to me, man. It kind of like makes me think like, hey, I do have a chip on my shoulder and I got to go out there and deliver every single time, man. Like I just named all these guys, man, that are some people that I looked up to. So kind of being that guy right now, I don't know, some kid one day to be like, hey, Gino, Shawn Michaels, you know, whatever, you know, I want to be in that list, you know? So yeah, man, that's how much this means to me. And what's funny though, this is the only other championship that I ever won. I've been a 3-time reality wrestling champion,
Yeah.
but I never won any other championship. I went for the top one,
Yeah.
and I started coming down. But hey, this is not coming down. This is repping Texas, so this means the world to me right now, man.
Okay. Another thing I wanted to ask you about this championship, and you have been a fighting, believe me, this man has been a fighting champion. I've been witnessing to some of it as well here at Reality Wrestling. Also, you have RC Mania. He represented that against Terrell Tempo, successful defense. He also represented it at the fourth row with Fly Brother Warren. He had an excellent match there. So let me tell you, though, how does it feel to be able to take this championship and defend it all around Texas, not just here at Reality Wrestling?
Like I said, man, just anything that has me representing Texas as the guy, you know, the Texas guy, you know, it just means the world to me. Just going out there and kind of showing everybody how Texas holds it down, man. And definitely a big moment for me was going to fourth row and defending that championship there, you know. There's a lot of, you know, new fans there that probably never heard about reality wrestling, and they got to see me there and be like, hey, this guy is out here, you know, holding it down for Texas. And like I said, that I was anything that I can do to represent Texas wrestling, man, is just it's literally like on my top things to do here, because I just think wrestling, and not just naming those guys that I have named before. Like I feel like Texas just has I don't know, can't put my finger on it, but like the way they generate talent here in Texas, it's insane. You know,
insane.
so being somebody that like, I'm not saying on top of that list because I'm not the type to kind of be like, hey, I'm the big dog here, but I let the crowd, you know, decide that. But like being a guy that's representing Texas right now just means the world to me, man. And I do it proudly.
Okay. That crowd, hey, you haven't seen it, go pull it up. That crowd at the fourth row, Gino came out, was electric. But I will get to my next subject, that right there, the mask.
Sure.
What does it represent to you, for people that don't know what it represents to you?
So, like I said, I was just a baby, man, and my earliest memory is being on the wrestling level. You know, I grew up in wrestling, I feel like I never started wrestling. I literally grew into it. You know, I was a baby, and like I remember luchadors like carrying me, you know, taking care of me, and that's because of my dad. You know, my dad was El Sanguinario, La Calaca, Máscara Maligna for AAA. Now that WWE is taking over AAA, you know, and, like I was in those locker rooms as a baby, man. So like growing up, I just always loved lucha culture, man, lucha libre. You know, all the masks, you know, all the cool capes. These guys were literally like, you know, real life superheroes to me. You know, as a kid, you know, I was like, it doesn't get any more real than this. I was at home watching Spider-Man, and I go with my dad to this place, and there's actually a guy flying out with a mask, and it's like, how is this possible? You know, so like this mask now and getting to wear it now, being my dad's mask, like a Calaca mask. It's just amazing being able to like bring that top part of my culture back. You know, when I took that year back to kind of take a break, I knew I had to like come back different. I had to come back with a, you know, repackage. You know, because I hate when people just come back and it's just the same wrestler. You know, like, hey man, you got to evolve. You know, you got people like, you know, Booker. Booker evolved so much throughout his career. You know. And Andy won King Booker, you know?
Yeah.
Like, he was out constantly, you know, switching it up, and you have to, you know? Because it's like if you watch a TV show, you don't want to watch the same guy the whole time, you know? It gets boring. You want to have some character development. You want to have stuff switch up. For when I came back, I knew I wanted to do something different, and I feel like out of all the characters my dad had, I feel like Calaca was a good one to come back with, because, you know, it represents death, man. It represents El Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead. And I feel like that's something that I felt like. I felt like I was coming back from the dead, man. I felt I was kind of coming back to life, and, you know, back into the wrestling world, man.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
Especially with the story you just laid out. Yeah, that's
man. So yeah, man, like Calaca represents me, and hey, man, a lot of people think this is the only mask I'm bringing back, but hey, my dad had different masks, man. And then this quick, I can bring another one back, you know.
What he might be telling y'all is Summer Champions, he might have something special for y'all.
Sure.
I'll tell you. So, I will dive into that, because one thing I do want to ask you before I dive into Summer Champions this year, with representing your culture, your family, and everything with that mask, how do you feel when other luchadors or other wrestlers in particular try to disrespect me? You have people trying to rip the mask off your face, throw it in the crowd, just crazy stuff. So how do you feel when that takes place?
Unless you're a luchador, I'll give you a pass. If you're a luchador and you're doing it, I'm like, ah, cool, bro. But because my dad used to do it, I grew up watching my dad, you know, ripping people's masks and whatnot. And so, like, as long as you're a luchador, and, you know, I'll let it pass. But if you're just this random guy with an old mask doing that, that's super disrespectful, man. Because these masks ain't cheap, man.
Yeah.
Sometimes, at least for me, like this mask, if anybody were ever to like grab it and rip it, it'll piss me off, because, you know, this has a lot of my family and culture behind it. Same with, like, you know, somebody like Rey Mysterio, you know, that mask, he's held it for years now, you know. And before that, his uncle held it, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, like, there's a whole, like, thing that goes behind that. So once you mess with Rey Mysterio's mask, you're not just messing with his mask, you're messing with his whole, like,
family,
you know, yeah, man. So I definitely feel like that, you know. And even if you don't, even if you're just starting off, you didn't have family that didn't wrestle and whatnot, I feel like once somebody disrespects your mask, hey, man, it's all fair game there, man. You can... you know, I'm just waiting for somebody to grab this mask. So, you know, it's done.
So you mentioned Booker as well. How does it feel to have worked with Booker T for so long? As far as like your growth, your development, how do you feel that he has helped you in that?
It's amazing, man, because I remember, like, I think I was like 16. I came into Booker's with a mask. You know, I came here to Rally Wrestling with a mask under the name Thunderjet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my dad used to wrestle like Thunderjet.
Okay.
So when I first started off, I was like, okay, I always knew I wanted to follow my dad's footsteps and kind of follow his path, you know. So that's one of the things that I did. I came in here with the name Thunderjet. Booker wasn't a fan of me wearing the mask. He was like, all right, kid, we're gonna need the mask off. All right, so I was all right. I took the mask off. I didn't fight it too much because even though I love lucha libre, I always loved like the American side of pro wrestling.
Yeah.
You know, like WWE, WCW, and like I just love storytelling and whatnot, and like the characters and whatnot. So when he told me, hey, you're gonna take the mask off, to me that was a different aspect of like, hey, this is something new that I can like, do and explore it. So starting off like that, and then I remember him telling me, hey, at so-and-so age, I'm gonna give you a tryout for WWE. And I got the tryout. Yeah, at that time, at that age, I think it was like 19, 20. I think it was 20. I got a tryout for WWE, man, and like, he didn't lie. I went out there. I learned a lot from that tryout. You know, I wouldn't be the wrestler that I am now if I didn't go to a tryout. You know, because I feel like even though like it would have been nice to like go to WWE, I feel like I learned a lot more from just being there and like learning, hey, this is something that I can work on. Hey, this is something that I can do best. And I feel like sometimes being that young and being there at that young age, I feel like it definitely messes with your head a little bit. I'm not saying that for everybody. I'm saying like, especially, I'm saying for me, I feel like at that age, I wasn't ready to be there, you know? I feel like at this point, I'm ready to go anywhere, you know? I feel like I could put myself against any top wrestler in any company, and I feel like I can go, you know? And I truly feel like that, you know? I feel like right now, they always say, the independent scene is like dying, but I'm like, hey, this independent scene is thriving right now.
Yeah.
I feel like there's constantly guys, coming up. So yeah, man, I feel like Booker's always been great to me. He's always been straight up with me, which I like. I don't like, any like, the go around and like, whatever. I like people being straight up with me, because I'm that way. I'm a training guy, reality wrestling, and I'm like that with students. Like, hey, you suck at this, but hey, you did this good, and I feel like you need that, because we're at the era of like participation trophies. Like, hey man, you did a good job, but it's like you never grow from that. You never grow from that. So like I feel like Booker's always been very straight up with everybody, and I feel like some people don't like that. For me, I love it. I feel like everybody needs that.
No, because he's gonna make sure that you don't look like a fool out there.
Yeah,
it's very easy to be a meme for not doing good things.
Yeah.
So I will tell you this. So you did make a very interesting point. You said that was for you. You didn't feel like, but you got to realize it's a lot of guys out here that. All right, I'll put it like this. How many guys do you see actually thrive at that young age?
Yeah.
You have your Randy Ortons, you have your Brock Lesnar's and stuff like that. But those are anomalies.
Yeah.
Like it's not, if everybody can do it, then those guys wouldn't be special.
Yeah.
So that's where I will take with that. So you were right about, you weren't ready for it, but that's a lot. That's a lot of us. That's a lot of us. When you have to go back, a lot of times it's good to go back and see what you did wrong because it'll help you. And like it's doing for you.
For sure.
It's helping you be the greatest version of yourself. Now I will jump to the indies. You say the indies are thriving now. How do you feel about the WWE ID program and it being this school being one of the first ones to be it, and you happen to represent it with the Reality Wrestling Texas Champion?
I think it's amazing, man. I feel like what WWE is doing right now, where they're for the longest, it was this is WWE, nothing else exists. You know what I mean? And I feel like now they're like, hey, this is TNA. Hey, this is AAA. Hey, this is the Indies. And I feel like that's amazing because it just makes wrestling thrive. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's what everybody wants. At least for me, I love pro wrestling so much. And I love all type of pro wrestling. I would never like sit there and be like, oh, well, this looks good, so whatever. I feel like wrestling is such an art form that you just gotta kind of like be like, hey, I like this wrestling. Hey, I don't like this. And that's fine if you don't like something, but like don't sit there and like put it down. I feel like it doesn't do anything. So I feel like right now with WWE doing that, where they're kind of putting their eye on the independents with the WWE guys. I feel like the guys there are amazing. I've seen a lot of those guys before their ID, and I feel like they're killing it right now.
Oh, yeah.
You know, yeah, I feel like right now, you know, they're doing the stuff with like, you know, GCW, you know, going around doing the tournaments and whatnot. I feel like it's pretty cool. It would be a lot better, you know, if I was in it. You know, I think they need to hold it down for Latinos, you know, like I do. But I feel like those guys are pretty good. But I also feel like I said, I'm not just throwing that out there like, hey, I can go, I can be there too, but I feel like I can go with those guys. You know, I haven't gotten a chance to wrestle anyone. I did wrestle Jackson Drake before he went on there. And I did beat him, so, you know,
Hey, I'm just
man,
saying.
you know. But I'm down to have that rematch and go against him again, you know. I feel like it'd be a lot of fun. It's amazing that, like, reality wrestling is part of that. But WWE idea right now, because I feel like for the longest, Booker was working towards that. Like, hey, how do we get the WWE umbrella? You know, to kind of like, how do we get under that umbrella? You know, and now then being able to be part of that, I think it's great being to see that and being part of it right now. You know, honestly, that's also one of the things that kind of brought me back to, like, kind of hearing like little whispers of it here and there, and be like, hey, reality wrestlers can be part of this. You know, like, oh, well, this is my home. I want to be there for that. You know, so getting to come back kind of exactly around the time that started going, happening, I feel like it's a great time to be here at reality wrestling.
Okay. So let's get down to business. You will be participating in a fatal four-way match with Max Castellanos, Matty Ice, and Gaspar Hernandez. Now, you and Mr. Max Castellanos have already had this checkered history. What makes it very puzzling, I would say, is that they added Matty Ice and Gaspar into the mix. How do you feel about defending this in a fatal four-way?
I think, I think Max and I literally have like so much history. Ever since I came back, I don't know how many times I wrestled him already. I wrestled him all over the place. But I mean, you know, ever since coming back, they got me going again. So these promoters are calling me, hey, Gino, we want you to wrestle Max. So, hey, Max, maybe you're not doing something right. They need me as champion, you know? For Gaspar, I've never been in the ring with Gaspar. So that's going to be, you know, a huge obstacle to kind of overcome. Matty Ice, and for him, I've never been in the ring with him. But I definitely do have my eyes on Gaspar, because I feel like it's a threat in that match. Send me Gaspar. So I gotta keep my eye out on him. And to me, like, I love fatal four ways. I love having, you know, not having the moment to kind of like breathe, because you never know when a guy's on your right behind you ready to club you. So like I feel like it's gonna be a lot of fun being in there with those four guys and just kind of test myself against some of the top, you know, talent here in reality wrestling. But as I did say, I'm one of the top guys, not just in reality wrestling, not just in Texas, but I feel like I'm one of the best guys in all of independent wrestling, man.
Yeah, these are former reality wrestling champions that are in this thing too, multiple times, to be honest with you. How do you feel, because we did have Mr. Max Castellanos on this show, and also a few of our vlogs, and he says that you stole his Texas Championship and you didn't beat him for the Texas Championship. Aiden couldn't kick out. That's what was told. Aiden couldn't kick out. That's what was told.
Hey, he's had the chance this whole time, well, since what it's been like since December, I think.
Yeah.
He's had the chance to come at me for it, you know? But he hasn't done it yet. Maybe he's scared. Maybe he sees now that there's two other guys that want it, and he's trying to seize himself in there and being like, hey, I can do what Gino did, and, you know, and kind of just
pin somebody.
Pin somebody else. And which I didn't really kind of pick the guy that I wanted to pin. But yeah, it's the opportunity that I had in the match. But I did have some beef with Eddie Cristiano. He's one of the guys that's always come at me. This time around, he was trying to go after my bass match too.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, Eddie Cristiano's right there. I don't care where you're at, Max. 1, 2, 3, man.
So how do you feel about the whole history with you and Aiden since you've been back? Because I feel like that's a chapter that was here before you came back, and it was a chapter going back into it when you got back here. So how was that whole set of emotions for you? Because you guys are kind of close. You were kind of close at one point.
Yes, sir. I feel like Aiden, Cristiano, and I are always gonna be like tied together for some reason. But he was the guy that brought me here to wrestling, actually. So I feel like I don't have any problem with that. As long as he stays away from my dad's mess, I'm okay with him, you know? But I think Aiden Cristiano is one of the best wrestlers in Texas in general, and I feel like you can put him up against him and he would deliver. And that's why I like going. That's why I like going against him. You know, that's why I like any matchup that I have against him. I'm ready for it because I know I have to bring it. You know, he's also actually one of the hardest, toughest, hard-hitting guys that you'll get in the ring with. You know, you'll feel every single thing once you're in there with Aiden channel. You're gonna one of the first time that I wrestled him, he kicked the hell out of my ear. I couldn't hear through my ear until like next day. So it was just a constant ring. The ring, stop, and then I just couldn't hear for the rest of the day. So I feel like anytime that I get in there with Eddie Cristiano, I feel like it's going to be a fight. But lucky for him, I love a fight. So, so yeah, man, anytime Eddie wants this, he can come for it, man.
Okay. So before I wrap up, I do have some fan questions.
Okay.
I did some homework. I did some homework I got with the fans, and they want to ask you a few questions. Let's get to it. All right.
What you got?
One of the things are wrestler you steal a move from.
So that's too much.
I think I would kind of know this.
Probably CM Punk.
That's what I was gonna say.
It was mostly when I was younger. Now I'll throw like little 1-2 moves in there in my matches. But when I was younger, man, I was studying all the CM Punk moves. I did not care. Plus, I got to train with him now, so I guess I could be like, hey, he taught me this. Yeah.
You pull it out. Best trash talker in Row.
At Row. Probably Clay Roberts right now. He's up there. Yeah.
All right, so one dream opponent, alive, active, or even dead.
So I got 3 of them. Okay.
Yeah.
Edge, which I recently met.
Yeah.
I met him, and like that was like one of the guys that I was said, if I'm ever gonna be starstruck in wrestling, I've never been starstruck. And I was with him, with Edge. And I feel like I kind of just, as a kid, I kind of just looked up to that guy so much. I've studied his matches so much that I feel like if I ever got to get in there with him, I feel like it'll be an instant classic.
Okay.
The second one will be CM Punk.
Okay.
And I told him when I took that year off, I got to talk to him and kind of like pick his brain a little bit and just kind of interact with him. I did tell him, hey, once I come back, I want to match against you. Something that I told him.
Hey.
So, hey.
Got to shoot for the stars.
Hey, we got to manifest that one. Another one, which is like kind of, self-explanatory, but it will be my dad. I feel like if I ever I didn't even get to train with my dad. So I feel like just thinking about it, like just being able to be in the ring against him would have been amazing, man. And I even think about it now. Anytime that I wrestle like a top luchador, like I'm just like, damn, I wonder what my dad would be thinking right now, So I feel like that'll be a special one for me, man. It'll be Edge, CM Punk, and my dad, man.
I figured your dad would be in one or in that. I was waiting on it. I was like, all right. Let's see. And you're building a faction. Pick 3 guys that you would build a faction with.
3 guys too. That's a good question. Let's see. I would definitely have CM Punk there.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because, like I said, I'm a big fan, and I feel like he's a little older now. So whenever he wants, he doesn't have to wrestle. He can just be our mouthpiece.
Yeah.
You know, so it'll be Punk, myself, and another guy will be. Let's go with Brian Keith. Brian Keith, that's my boy, bro. So definitely be. You know,
you tag with him a lot too. So
yeah. Brian Keith and CM Punk.
Okay.
Being their mouthpiece.
Okay. All right. I like it. I like it. And then to finish off, people talk about Gino, but they forgot about.
They forgot about something that you guys forgot. Is I'm not the Latin heartthrob anymore. I mean, I'm not the El Intocable.
Yeah.
I actually had some beef for you. I was gonna come here tonight and be like, hey man, I'm not El Intocable anymore, man. The Untouchable is dead. It's dead, man. So I feel like that whole like era of me. I feel like I had stages in my life. I went from this luchador with a mask into the Latin heartthrob. Then I went into El Intocable. And I ran with that for the longest, but now the Intocable is done, man. Intocable is dead, and now comes El Hijo de la Calaca, the Texas Champion, and you know it's a new Gino that you got now, man. So yeah, I had that in mind. So it's a good last question, you know.
Hey, that guy's name is Corey Adams. He was my tag partner, but yeah, but yeah, I just got the fly and just put it up, man.
I just messed it.
Nah, man, we're gonna wrap this up, man. A great episode with the reality wrestling Texas champion Gino Medina, man. Y'all know what time it is, man. Don't watch me. Watch Dynamite TV, and you can tune in to Dynamite TV, the Big Propaganda Wrestling Podcast, and the Heels Corner, all on YouTube. Y'all have a good night.